To Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals. Nathan Zagura, Browns legend, Josh Cribbs. We're going to do it again. As you see, an overcast day here in Berea. The Browns back outside after having to practice inside yesterday, and we appreciate your patience. Thank you so much for joining us on Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals. And Josh, as we noted, we've got today, we've got tomorrow, and then one more quote-unquote training camp practice before you get ready for the season opener, which is just 15 days away against the Ravens. And this team has had to deal with a lot of adversity this week, a lot of changes to their schedule, unexpected things have popped up, and yet the last 2 days, we were out here 2 days ago, the best practice we had seen yesterday, that continued in the field house. That's got to be a good sign.
Yes, it's a good sign no matter how many things you're throwing at this team, the controversies, everything, the injuries, the win, it's so much stuff that this young team has to deal with, having the new coach, having to put in a playbook. And despite all those issues, Coach Stefanski says, we're not using any excuse, any of those. We are all issues. The Ravens will have issues all throughout the NFL, but this team is ready. They will be ready. Game one, they have no choice. Our fans will demand that they be ready.
They will be, and if this offense the last 2 days any indication, Baker Mayfield and company certainly will be ready. Their two best days of camp thus far. Coming up on today's show, we'll take a look at the offensive standouts thus far in Berea, and I think you guys have a pretty good idea of who they are. Josh and I will each nominate a couple of guys who we really think have been the breakout players in Berea. We'll get a national perspective with NFL Network analyst Mark Sessler. Denzel Ward, the Browns corner, the Warden of the North, will join us live after practice. We've got Jarvis Landry mic'd up, and you always want to hear what Jarvis has to say. Plus, we get your fan questions using the hashtag BrownsLive. Let's jump right into the news updates today, brought to you by Carrier. And for the Browns, couple of injury updates for you. Both Adrian Claiborne, who's missed the last few days with a groin injury, he has returned, as has wide receiver Kaderil Hodge, who had missed 5 practices due to personal reasons. Hodge returned to yesterday's session and certainly seemed to be in fine form. Speaking of the wide receiver room, Damian Willis has joined the Browns' 80-man roster today. The second-year player out of Troy, who started his career last year, appearing in 10 games for the Bengals, catching 9 balls and making 2 starts. He's in. He took the place of DJ Montgomery last year, an undrafted free agent standout at wide receiver who was waived today. Now, we talked about the receivers. We mentioned Kaderil Hodge. I think the big news from the pressers earlier today, wide receiver coach Chad O'Shea saying that third receiver job still very much open. Higgins has been great lately. You love seeing him walk that red carpet. Hodge has been excellent this year, but he missed some time. He's back now. DPJ keeps flashing, and he also mentioned Damian Ratley as well as Taywan Taylor. So a lot of guys still competing in that room.
Definitely a lot of guys. There's a lot of good competition ahead. Anytime you have a hard competition at that number 3 spot, it's a good thing to have. Andrew Berry will have his work cut out for him. At the same time, you will try to figure out yourselves as fans, how will you rate them? How will you rate their success on this team, whether it be who can play special teams the most, who plays the most positions? You want to say who catches the most passes from Baker, whoever he's more comfortable with. So you don't know where that battle will land up. All I know is a good one that's happening right behind us.
It is, and we'll pay close attention to that today. Hollywood Higgins been sensational of late. Looking at 2018 chemistry that he had with Baker Mayfield certainly seems to be rekindled, and Donovan Peoples-Jones just makes a highlight play seemingly every single day. He'll look to keep that going. Time now to be joined by the Browns head team physician and University Hospital's orthopedics chairperson, Dr. James Voos. Dr. Voos, you along with others at University Hospital were instrumental at getting this team back in the building and out on the practice field behind us. Take us through this process in what has been just one of the most unique environments, not only for the world, but obviously for an NFL team.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Pleasure to talk to you today. The Cleveland Browns and University Hospitals went through an extensive process to safely get all of our players, coaches, and all of the employees for the Cleveland Browns safely back in the building. This was an extensive process in collaboration with the NFL, all of our public health officials, all of our infectious disease experts at university hospitals, and our team physicians to set up all of those cleaning criteria, the distancing, the physical changes in the building, and then all of our daily testing and utilization of wearable technology to help map out our players' daily activities so that they can play in the safest environment possible. And the goal is to let the players go out there and play and do what they need to do, and we can work on a healthy and safe environment around them.
As you've seen the players get back in the building, a lot of success not only here in Cleveland but around the National Football League. Very few players still remaining on that COVID list. No new positives coming out, certainly of Berea thus far. How do you guys kind of feel it? Is this evolving? You guys feeling very good about the protocols at this point? What are your feelings so far on how things have gone?
Yeah, we really enforced at the very beginning that we're all in this together. Players, coaches, everyone in the building, we're all one team and one team across the NFL in terms of keeping each other safe. And I think everyone's taken that task very seriously. We've all done our part of following all of those rules and criteria, and I think it's paid off, and we hope that continues, but really proud of how everyone has handled this and really worked together.
You know what, Josh Cribbs here, I did have something. I don't mean to go out of left field with this one. When you look at around the NFL, do you guys talk when it comes to different protocols that may work for this team that haven't worked for this team or something like that? Do you guys talk across the league to see what is the best one, or you guys haven't figured out?
That's a great question. We communicate regularly at the NFL level and with the NFL Physicians Society, and also with our other professional sports teams, with Major League Baseball and soccer and hockey. All of the medical teams regularly communicate to see what works and what doesn't, and we continually tweak and refine our protocols to reflect that. And it's been a great collaboration across all of these leagues to continue to provide the safest environment possible for the athletes.
And Dr. Voos, it's not just UH's relationship with the Browns. You guys have relationships with high schools, colleges, club programs. How are you working to get all sports into a safe start?
Yeah, University Hospitals, we have over 50 high schools and youth organizations we care for, and we have a healthy restart program, a safe school restart program that we have helped to execute with all of our schools, going in and doing that same walkthrough through them, just like what we learned here in Berea at the Cleveland Browns facility, how to help them plan their training room, to space out their practices, to protect their athletes, to clean their equipment, has really been a huge task. And on top of that, we have all of the regular things we have with normal sports occurring, dealing with heat and hydration and all of the injuries that can occur, as well as the injury prevention program. So this is an added thing on top of what we provide to these schools so that they can have that same healthy environment just like we do here in Berea.
We were not able to have our diehard Browns fans at training camp, but talk about the Healthy Fan program. What is that all about?
Yeah, University Hospitals has continued their Healthy Fan program this year, and we want all of our fans to be just as healthy as our athletes are. At uhhealthyfan.com is an opportunity for fans to participate in some wellness initiatives where there's some fun prizes involved, and really a way to encourage our fans to be their best and to be as healthy as they can be.
Dr. Voos, thank you so much for the time. Thank you so much for all that you and University Hospitals have done, certainly in this community and for the Browns, as we sit 15 days away and are very hopeful for the start of the 2020 NFL season because of all your great work.
Great. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And as Dr. Voos mentioned, through a partnership with the Browns, we are helping our city's fans get into tip-top shape for the 2020 season with activity challenges. And we're rewarding the healthiest fans with prizes. Go to uhhealthyfan.com. You saw that earlier on your screen. It's uhhealthyfan.com to sign up. All right, when we come back, we're going to get you onto the field here in Berea. But want to remind you about our 50-50 raffle tickets going on throughout 2020 Cleveland Browns training camp. Each ticket will provide a chance to win half of the raffle's net proceeds, the other half benefiting Stay in the Game, Keep Learning Every Day, and Shoes and Clothes for Kids, a Cleveland-based nonprofit organization. The current jackpot, I'm told, is even north of $17,000. We're going north of $20,000 and climbing, so don't miss out. For more information on how to purchase a raffle ticket, visit Browns5050.com, the website you see on your screen, or the Browns mobile app. We'll be back with Browns training camp action live from Berea. It's Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals.
The world has changed, but some facts remain. Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack, and every hour, over 700 people suffer a broken bone. While those numbers haven't changed, there are fewer people seeking the treatment they need. If you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get the care you need at University Hospitals. Protecting your health with science and compassion. That's UH Safe.
Antonio's Pizza delivers doubles. Order 2 medium one-topping pizzas for just $9.99 each, or make it a large for just $12.99. Download our new Antonio's Pizza app and order 2 of your favorite one-topping pizzas at a special low price. Choose our no-contact delivery and let one of our in-house team members deliver the deliciousness right to your front door. 2 handmade one-topping pizzas fresh out of our 470-degree oven for a low price of $9.99 each for 2 mediums, or get 2 large for just $12.99 each.
New this year, Browns fans all across Ohio will have a special opportunity to purchase 50-50 raffle tickets during the 2020 Cleveland Browns training camp. Each ticket will provide a chance to win half of the raffle's net proceeds, the other half benefiting the Stay in the Game Network and Shoes and Clothes for Kids, a Cleveland-based nonprofit organization. Some exclusions apply. For more information and to purchase a raffle ticket, visit Browns5050.com, that's Browns5050.com, or the Browns mobile app.
Just got my new jersey from the Browns.
And it looks like we're going a little bit more traditional this year. Oh, Lord. Heck yeah.
Oh, I like the white one. Back to the good old days.
Welcome back to Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals. Nathan Zagur alongside Josh Cribbs. And Josh, we said today we're going to talk about some of our offensive standouts through this training camp in Berea. And our Position Spotlight group is going to be on those offensive standouts. And as always, the Position Spotlight brought to you by Pilot Flying J. And speaking of one of your standouts, Austin Hooper, we're getting some team action. So we'll kind of narrate the action and also tell you that. But Austin Hooper, somebody who certainly has caught your eye, Josh.
Definitely. He supports surprised me in that he sparked that whole tight end position group. And when you look at tight end as it relates to our team and our offense and the talent, who would have thought going into 2020 we would be talking this much about the tight ends? And look at who we're talking about. He's just been phenomenal all camp long. Surprised me. I didn't follow him too much when he was in Atlanta. So when he came here, I'm like, I heard he had a good time, good stats and everything. And it's building up. He had a hell of a year last season. But I didn't think he would affect this football team so much, and him and Baker will have that much chemistry to the point where you have all of those tight ends battling to chase him, to be, the second guy to him. And then all the receivers are going to have to battle just to get the football away from him. So this is an unexpected turn of events where the tight end position actually might be the position that defensive coordinators feared the most.
Absolutely. I think it very well may be in Austin Hooper, a two-time Pro Bowler down in Atlanta before coming to the Browns. And for a time, they made him the highest-paid tight end in the league. That's been surpassed. Now you see a screen pass there to D. Ernest Johnson, who continues to have a strong camp. And one of my standouts also in that tight end room, Harrison Bryant. And Harrison Bryant, all you had to do was go to the Browns social media yesterday, since we weren't able to bring you Browns live at practice when they moved indoors. And what'd you see? More Harrison Bryant, and here it is right there, just making plays every single time he is in the game. He makes plays. You think you have him covered? You don't have him covered. You got two guys there. Doesn't matter. Harrison Bryant catches it. The rookie has been absolutely sensational. This is all yesterday. That's 1, 2, 3 touchdowns for Bryant, the rookie out of Florida Atlantic, who I think we look back at this in the 4th round, might be one of the steals of the draft. We thought it was going to be hard for a rookie to make an impact, and David Njoku's been nursing that wrist injury and actually just walked into the field house behind us now with some of the strength staff, so obviously is scheduled to be in there to get some work there. But Harrison Bryant's taking advantage of that, and it's going to be hard to keep him off of the field, Josh.
It is, and when you look at the multiple levels of talent that you have at each position stacked, it's just not just Bryant. You got Brown right behind him. You got Carlson right there. All of those guys are fighting for the football, and they're doing exceptionally well when they have the opportunity, when they're in the game.
Browns run a little toss play to the right. Kareem Hunt, defense doing a good job flowing to the football and locking that up. And as part of my standouts, Kareem Hunt, he had to fill in for Nick Chubb for a few days and you didn't miss a beat. And that's because these guys might be the best running back tandem that we've had in the NFL in decades. And Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt have both been sensational here. You see Chubb, the way that he finishes his runs, that combination of speed, power, vision. Kareem bouncing it outside. It doesn't matter that they're not tackling. Nobody was tackling him there anyway. I think these guys are going to be so busy. You see the vision on the cutback and then just busting angles. You think you have an angle on Nick Chubb? No, you do not. These two are going to be so important as there's another cutback. The vision they have, the breakaway speed, they're going to be so important early in the season. I think the Browns are going to lean on these running backs, and why wouldn't you when you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, both of whom have been outstanding every single play here in Berea?
Yes, I do not doubt that, not one bit, that these two, this tandem that we have in Cleveland right now is going to open up so much, again, for Hooper and the tight end group, and again, for those wide receivers. My next standout guy was DPJ. To have DPJ come out on top the way he has now, basically, when he has an opportunity to succeed, when the ball is thrown to him, he tries to catch it. He's downfield catching the ball. There's only one football. He has a battle just to get the ball. And that's the problem, when you have guys trying to steal positions.
Yep.
It's only one football, but you have so much talent. He also has another battle trying to get the number 3 wide receiver spot. So he's competing, in my mind, against JoJo Natson, Higgs, and Hodge at that 3rd wide receiver spot. And then he has another battle at returner. Him and JoJo Natson are going back and forth at returner for special teams. So depending on what he has on his plate, seeing what he has on his plate, he has his work cut out for him, and seeing all of that, I think he's done pretty good.
I think he's done very, very well. Time now for our Football 101 presented by Ohio Cat. We're talking about 4-point plays, and what that means simply is when you are in the red zone, 3rd and goal, you got to get to touchdown, or you get 7, or you kick a field, you get 3, and you see how critical. That's a game the Browns won. How do you know that? Because they converted on their 4-point play. This one against the Bengals, again, a game the Browns won. Again, it's simple. Convert on these 4-point plays. There are very few of them. When you get down there, you've got to score. And for the Browns, that's going to be critical early in the season, especially when you're taking on a team as good as the Baltimore Ravens. Again, you look at Baker Mayfield here, sliding up, making plays with his legs. That's something he's talked about. He said, I'm in better shape than ever. I need to be able to make those plays with my legs that I haven't been able to make, and he felt like he didn't make enough of last season. So that is our Football 101, brought to you by Ohio Cat.
Yes, and that's one of the things that I wanted to see more of Baker. He's one of few quarterbacks around the league that is mobile. I didn't want to see him throw it away too much. I wanted to see if no one's open, go ahead and run if you have it. But if you can't run, if you don't have a lane here and there, go ahead, throw it away, live the next play. But there were some plays I know he wanted to have back, and our fans were out there like, run the ball, you can do this. And he showed it. He showed some glimpses of running the football and being mobile, but this year is more of a purpose, and I'm excited to see it.
As we take a look at Baker Mayfield now and that first-team offense out there with Baker in the shotgun. Kareem Hunt to his left, drops back, good rhythm, good throw, and there's your guy Austin Hooper working against Sione Takitaki, the young linebacker who's had a very good camp, was right there in coverage, but a good route, a good throw will beat good coverage in the National Football League, and you saw that from Baker, that good rhythm there. We're going to get you back on the field as soon as we return with more Browns Live presented by University Hospitals.
The world has changed, but some facts remain. Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack, and every hour, over 700 people suffer a broken bone. While those numbers haven't changed, there are fewer people seeking the treatment they need. If you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get the care you need at university hospitals. Protecting your health with science and compassion. That's UH Safe.
Hi, I'm John. I'm a pharmacist for Discount Drug Mart, but that's not all I am. I'm a healthcare provider, good listener, and a problem solver. I've been a pharmacist for Drug Mart for over 30 years, and that's a long time to get to know your patients. And each week we hear as many concerns as there are patients. Just the other day, I special ordered a medication for Mrs. Briscoe, just to make sure she didn't miss a dose. I'm proud that our patients trust me with their pharmacy needs, and I promise that Discount Drug Mart will always be there for you.
Obviously it's a talented group of individuals, but talented individuals don't win games. It's a team game, and that's the biggest part. And the facts are, we have to execute.
The goal is to play fast, and we've found over the years that the offense that breaks the huddle and constantly is just going at the defense and really not waiting for a counterpunch. It's jabbing first. So that's a big part of who we are as an offense, and it's something that AVP is installing right now.
Oh, I got him. There you go. Good job.
Today's Cleveland Browns High School Team of the Day, Warrensville Heights High School, paired with Cardinal High School to accept the Build the Bridge Challenge. The Tigers are coached by Rami Graham and have high expectations this year, led by a core group of seniors. To learn more about the Build the Bridge Challenge and how you can be the solution, visit clevelandbrowns.com/youthfootball today.
Nathan Zagura alongside Browns legend Josh Cribbs. Browns Live training camp presented by University Hospitals. Get you back to the action on the field here in a windy day, Josh. I mean, we are literally, I am weighing all of these papers down so they don't go flying across. See Case Keenum and the second team offense out there. Keenum under center. Quick little handoff to the right side. Dearness Johnson, or that might have been Benny LeMay, tries to find some room to run there, and defense was right there. Today, not in pads. They've been in pads each of the last 2 days, two of what I would call the better practices of training camp, frankly, certainly from an offensive perspective. Tomorrow they'll be at First Energy Stadium, back in the pads before that Monday off, and you see Donovan Peoples-Jones and Damian Ratley jogging off there. It's good to see Ratley back on the field participating in team drills today. Had a nice catch while we were in break, but now it's time for Baker Mayfield and that starting group, and there you see one of my standouts, number 88, Harrison Bryant. He and Austin Hooper have just been they've been sensational, along with Odell Beckham Jr. You said OBJ, DPJ. We got Austin Hooper, Harrison Bryant. That ball seemed to get out awful quickly on Baker Mayfield there. A little bit of a miscommunication on the snap count. It seemed like everybody was moving, but the ball was there just a little bit early, and that's when you're dealing with a rookie center in Nick Harris. And we heard Bill Callahan say, look, I love his confidence, I love his poise, I love the improvement that he has made, because right now they don't know if J.C. Tretter is going to be available week number 1. You see the offense say, okay, now we didn't have that. That wasn't good. Let's get right back to work here and get after it. You see Denzel Ward out there at corner for the Browns on defense. Porter Gustin working at that left end spot. Tavier Thomas in the slot. As Mayfield in the shotgun. Calls out the protection, switches Nick Chubb over to his left side. They send Odell Beckham Jr. in motion, as you saw him be followed, and a quick hitter over the middle, and there he is, Harrison Bryant. I mean, it's almost like you just know he's going to catch a pass every time he's on the field. It seems like this guy just gets open. The Mackey Award winner, he's the first tight end ever to win that award, which is the nation's top tight end, not from a Power 5 conference. Had over 1,000 yards receiving last year at Florida Atlantic. That's the first time that had happened since 2013, and all the coaches say is this guy works hard. He's in the playbook, and everybody's just blown away by how good he's been. We asked Van Pelt, who stood out to you? Harrison Bryant. Kevin Stefanski, who stood out to you? Harrison Bryant. And he does it. You guys see it for yourself here on Browns Live Training Camp, presented by University Hospitals. Nice little cutback. And Larry Ogunjobi says, nope, I'm right there in the hole, and wraps up Nick Chubb there, Josh.
Yeah, I'm glad to see those big guys showing up when they're supposed to. Ogunjobi back out at practice after missing some time. And, again, those young guys was in there having too much fun without him. I'm sure he was trying to wait until he could get healed up completely to join him. That defense has still been playing lights out. My wife actually asked me, like, what does lights out mean? And I'm like, it means whenever you hear the term lights out, that means a team is consistently doing good. They're consistently playing lights out football. And she said, you can't use the same term in the direction, in the definition. I'm like, well, that's what they're doing. Look it up.
That's right. Lights out. Look it up. The lights out dance, made famous by Sean Merriman back in the day of the Chargers. But, yeah, this defense, it has been incredibly solid, and I think it's been very, very good to see the offense kind of ramp up its execution. And I think so far today, Baker Mayfield has continued with that. Looks to be in a good rhythm. The ball is out. It's on target, and he's been delivering the football to his receivers. Before we get you back out on the field and into this action, it's time now for the Puppy Pound. That's right, the Puppy Pound puppy of the day, adopted by Sugardale. Today's puppy is an 8-month-old lab mix named Miles Gariff. Get it? Gariff. Ruff, ruff. Thanks to tremendous community support, we only have a limited number of puppies available for adoptions, but we still have great dogs. We consider all dogs to be puppies at heart that need forever homes. So please continue to support this great program, and if you want to see or adopt a dog or a puppy of your own, visit browns.com/puppypound. With each adoption, families will receive a puppy starter kit provided by Sugardale. Look at Miles. Get him a new home there. He looks great. Fantastic. And we'll go back to the action here on the field here. Nathan Zagura, Josh Cribbs, Browns Live, presented by University Hospitals, as we see them going through some drills here. So I think this would be a perfect opportunity to talk to you about the Browns Pro Shop item of the day. That's what it was. Today's item is this ladies' dry fit t-shirt that is on sale for only $20. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Call the Pro Shop at 440-824-3427 to place your order, or go to First Energy Stadium, open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. The store has been updated for a clean and safe shopping experience, and the best part is that all net proceeds benefit the Cleveland Browns Foundation. So doing good things in your community. We'll take a break, get you back out to this action. It's Browns Live Training Camp, presented by University Hospitals.
The health and well-being of Ohioans is our top priority. That's why we offer high-quality health insurance plans for you and your family, with access to the doctors and hospitals you know and trust, plus dental, vision, and wellness plans to help you achieve and maintain your best health. We give you peace of mind so you can enjoy life's best moments. We are here for you, today and every day. Medical Mutual, the official health insurer of everything you love.
At Union Home Mortgage, we're committed to your goals. Whether it's a cash-out refinance to cover the cost of her college tuition, more room for new memories to grow, or to buy a home for the very first time. Whatever your goal, what matters to you matters to us too. And we promise, we won't stop working until you get there. Make your dream a reality with Union Home Mortgage. Promises kept.
The Cleveland Browns are tremendously grateful for those who continue to serve on the front lines during these extremely challenging times. As a way to show our appreciation and as a part of our Hats Off to Our Heroes Foundation, we will honor a frontline worker for each week of the season. Nominate any frontline worker that you know for a chance to be honored with an exclusive Browns game day experience. Learn more by visiting clevelandbrowns.com/nominate-a-hero.
All right, time now for today's Dog of the Day, brought to you by Sugardale. And today's Dog of the Day is the Beata family. Dave Beata has bled orange and brown since 1958. Starting in 1987, Dave and his three boys have not missed a Browns training camp, and their love for the Browns have brought them closer together as a family. We're sorry you guys had to miss this one. Love you guys masking up, feeling dangerous. The Beata family, thank you so much for your support. And if you want a chance to be featured as our Dog of the Day, visit browns.com/training camp to submit your story. Nathan Zagura alongside Josh Cribbs. It's Browns Live, presented by University Hospitals here in Berea. The Browns going through some special teams periods right now. Let's go into our national perspective. We were joined by the NFL Network analyst Mark Sessler in today's National Perspective, brought to you by Global Transport.
All right, Mark. Last year, if we were talking at this time, it was just we were all riding high, straight to the Super Bowl. Let's go, can't be stopped. We know that's not how it all worked out, but this year, even though it's been a bizarre year for so many different reasons, once again, though, the Browns team led by Kevin Stefanski, maybe flying under the radar, but I know you are excited about this team's prospects and excited about the head coach.
You have a head coach in Kevin Stefanski and a general manager in Andrew Berry who appear egoless, highly organized, on the same page. And these rookie head coaches across the league have had to deal with unpredictable, incredible odds. And Stefanski, to me, and I've had people text me and come out of the woodwork and say, you have a good coach there. I want to let you know. I worked with him here, there. People know him. He is, I think the players have already come out in droves to say, this is a good communicator. He listens to us. He's with us. He has our back. And that just has not been the case when you've had, on this team or other teams, clashing front offices and coaching staffs. It's a huge help to not have that be the case. It's the opposite now. I don't know if that's going to help them get out to a fast start because of the injuries, the challenges, the other stuff that's going on. But I really think that by November, December, you're going to start to see what this Browns team is.
Yeah, Kevin Stefanski, I mean, you think about it, for a first-time head coach to deal with all the things that he's had to deal with, he'll make no excuses, but I think you said something very important, and all the players that I talked to, they say the same thing. He has our backs, and I thought, in yesterday talking about the decision to shorten practice in light of the social justice issues and the impact that these players want to make, he said, I'm here it's a time for listening and unity, and they said they wanted to practice. I was leaving it up to my players, and I think that's a pretty powerful statement and a very kind of what you would call an uncertain and unprecedented time.
It is. And I mean, I think the Browns as an organization have shown support to these issues really for years. I mean, it's not just this season, but now when it's needed the most, top down, I think that they have basically, we're in an era now where these players, this isn't football players from the 1950s where everyone just thinks that they put on pads and then in the off season they work in like meat packing plants. These are incredibly intelligent, worldly guys. I had a chance to travel with a bunch overseas to a USO trip to Germany and Italy. And what I came away from most of all was like, today's NFL player is caring, compassionate. They understand and want to be part of social issues. And we are seeing it now in a way that we've never seen in any sports scenario in our life. And I think it's unifying these players, no matter what their backgrounds are, to see so many come out and say, we care, we want to make a change. And the coaching staffs have to be part of that. And Stefanski from the very beginning has made this a total priority. And it shows. We're not guessing that. We know that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you there. Now, turning our attention to on the field matters. You mentioned the challenges for installing new systems with no OTAs, no mini camps, and then you mentioned the injuries. And I know you followed me long enough to know that both Mack Wilson and Grant Delpit's injuries certainly hit very close to home for me, and I couldn't be more excited than to see double deuces out there this year. How do you think this team responds to losing two young guys that were going to be big parts of what they did on the back seven?
Well, I think the problem a little bit is those two position groups were already question marks to some degree. And, I really liked moments from Mack Wilson last year. And just following him on Twitter, you can tell he put in so much work this offseason. So it hurt to see that. And when you look at Grant Delpit, I mean, they put a lot of investment into the draft pick. And Joe Woods, I liked his honesty. He sort of said, look, we had him scheduled to do things that we don't really have another guy on the team to do right now. So I don't know if that means that you go out and look at someone like Logan Ryan or veterans out there. I think they'll be very active when cuts come, and they're going to probably – I think this is a front office that says we're always going to churn the roster. But I don't think Grant Delpit can really be, with who they have right now, replaced. But football players in general, I mean, this happens on every team. You got to find a way to rally. I think one thing is I think this was a team that probably was going to do a lot of 5, even sometimes 6 defensive backs and do very versatile things. It lowers what you can do, especially out of the gate, until maybe some of the other young players kind of develop. So it's a concern, but this whole team to me cannot be judged a month or two in. I mean, I think they're going to have to really stick to what works and then grow more experimental as the season goes on and they get used to working together. It's only been a couple weeks.
What do you expect from this offense? And I think that really is a question of what do you expect from Baker Mayfield this year?
I had someone text me after they drafted Harrison Bryant and said, you're going to fall in love with this guy. And I think we're seeing that in camp. And it's another reminder that this front office, it kind of reminds me when Kyle Shanahan landed in San Francisco, that the front office made it very apparent that they wanted to get Kyle Shanahan's team on the field, the kind of pieces he needs. And they did that very quickly for Kevin Stefanski, which is a good sign. I think out of the gate, the whole league is going to probably be running the ball in excess. And I could see Cleveland being one of the most run-heavy teams around. Why not? I mean, the only reason that Nick Chubb isn't talked about as a 1, 2, or 3 pick in fantasy and he's down at 10 or 11 is because you have Kareem Hunt. And so you've got these incredible riches in the backfield. And they've been playing well in this system, and I think they fit this system. You got a lot at tight end. So you don't need to be too freaky out of the gate. I think you do what works.
Mark, always a pleasure talking with you. Thanks for the time.
Hey, thanks, Nathan. See you soon.
Always good catching up with Mark Sessler there in our National Perspective, brought to you by Global Transport. During training camp, the Browns are holding a special charity auction with special experiences and items to benefit the Browns Foundation Stay in the Game education program. Today's item of the day is a Jedrick Wills Jr. autographed football. To bid on this item and more, visit browns.com/auctions. Josh and I will be back with more Browns training camp coverage on Browns Live Training Camp, presented by University Hospitals, right after this.
At Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, we realize now, more than ever, is the perfect time to have the perfect house. We're confident we can find your dream home, even in today's competitive market. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
I love being home.
That's the elegance of having a mustache.
Cleveland Brown fans, can you say go Browns?
Welcome back to Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals. Nathan Zagura, Josh Cribb. See the Browns going through some install here, and as soon as they get back to 7-on-7s and team practice, we'll get you back onto the field. Today's Community Spotlight features one of the founding partners of the Stay in the Game Network, the Ohio Department of Education. State Superintendent of Public Instruction Paulo DeMaria, discusses the important role of the Ohio Department of Education in creating an environment where each child is challenged, prepared, and empowered for his or her future through access to an excellent and high-quality education. Today by the Ohio Superintendent of Public Instruction, Paulo DeMaria. Paulo, thank you for being with us, and thank you for being a part of the Stay in the Game, Keep Learning Everyday network here with the Browns.
Great to be with you and loving the partnership that we've developed.
How would you describe the department's role in this Stay in the Game network?
Well, obviously, we play a role on a number of fronts. We see ourselves as being more supportive. We want to make sure we create the conditions for students to want to learn and come to school so that the future of our state and the future of our communities and the future of our nation are these students. How do we help nurture in them the skills and abilities they're going to need to succeed, but also nurture in them a love for learning and a desire to always keep acquiring knowledge and skills that can help them become more and more successful, because that's ultimately going to work to their benefit and then work to the community and the state's shared and common benefit.
With the Cleveland Browns Foundation's involvement in the network, how is it unique?
Well, it's unique because they've stepped up, in a place that oftentimes you may not expect a foundation for a major league sports team to step up. They're looking at the needs of the students in their community, because this is where their players and their staff, live and raise their families. And there's something to be said about having a strong education system. And as I think they looked at the way they can make a difference in their community, they focused on the attendance issues. It's that shared interest of here's an issue, here's an organization that cares about the quality of what's going on in the community, helping people become more aware, because this is actually a problem that we can change, and we can make a difference.
Thank you so much for the time today, and hopefully we'll talk again in the future and get things back to normal and get everybody into school.
Thanks so much to the Browns Foundation, to Proving Ground, and everybody else that's involved in this initiative. We're making a difference and look forward to continued partnership.
The Cleveland Browns Foundation, in collaboration with the Ohio Department of Education and Proving Ground at Harvard University, have partnered with 14 school districts throughout Ohio to both encourage and support nearly 90,000 to hashtag Stay in the Game and Keep Learning Every Day. Learn more at get2school.com. Let's go back out to the practice field now. Josh Cribbs, Nathan Zagura, the Browns in some 7-on-7 work, and Baker Mayfield crisp again in the early going while we were playing that package for you. We were able to see over our shoulder, just crisp, good rhythm, good timing here. We look to see, looking right, comes back to the middle of the field and is able to find Nick Chubb for the check down over the middle against this Browns defense. See Money Mitch out there, always good to see number 39 on the field for the Browns. And Mayfield and the starters will head off for a second while Case Keenum and that second team unit will come in. But good rhythm again. This is 3 days in a row that we really have seen a nice rhythm from the Browns offense, and in particular Baker Mayfield. And as Kevin Stefanski told me on Thursday night on the Kevin Stefanski Show, we're finally progressing past that install, getting into some of our more advanced concepts, and you're seeing this offense have a lot of success. And Keenum out there with Kareem Hunt. We saw Hollywood Higgins, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Harrison Bryant. Pretty good group out there for Case Keenum as he looks over the defense in the shotgun, getting ready here in the 7-on-7. You see Alex Van Pelt with the walkie-talkie in the background, and our very own Matt Starkey working the camera, looking for that shot. Ball there to Hollywood Higgins for a nice little reception. And it looks like they're practicing moving the ball here, a little bit of kind of a 2-minute type of a situation. Doesn't look like we're going completely at full speed here, Josh, but just going through kind of the 2-minute type of a look.
Yes, and they're sharpening their skills, as you said. The plays are in. Good defensive breakup right there by Malcolm Smith, who we just brought in. But the plays are in for the most part, so they're worked out all the kinks of how it should look, how it should be ran. Now the quarterbacks can go out there and play fast, not just with throwing the ball in their mechanics, but their reads and progressions as well.
Yeah, they actually are going full speed here. And that's right over the middle. Harrison Bryant, always open. It reminds me of that Hard Knocks where they had that guy down in Miami, and they said his nickname was 7-11 because he's always open. That's what Harrison Bryant seems to be, always open, and he catches everything thrown his way. As Keenum continues here in this quick little 2-minute drill, move the ball, period. You want the ball out quick. It is thrown to the sideline, and there's the other tight end, stiff arm Steve Carlson, who again has had a nice camp. And I don't know what you do in this tight end room. I mean, can you keep 5 tight ends on a 53? Can that be a 10th of your roster? I don't think so.
I don't think you can keep 5 on your roster, given what you have already. Just because they're playing good, they're playing good football, they're catching everything, they're reconfirming what coaches and what general managers have already thought of them. They're reconfirming, hey, these guys good, they could play in the NFL, we can play these guys. So now they can just choose the guys who they really wanted because they're playing good football.
Absolutely. Keenum wanted Donovan Peoples-Jones deep there on a double move, ended up coming down and checking off to Jamarcus Bradley, and you saw him talk with Peoples saying, I know we can hit that deep ball. We've hit that a few times this camp. We'll get another one. We'll get another look at it as Baker Mayfield out there now. JoJo Natson, Jamon Moore with him. Dontrell Hilliard to his right hip as he is in the shotgun working here in this 7-on-7 period. Good athleticism in the background from the quarterback there.
I saw that.
Quick little out, and that goes over to Taywan Taylor. The defense given obviously everything underneath right now. They're not worried about the underneath routes.
I like how focused Baker is.
He seems very locked in. Again, crisp. There's been a
Yes.
crispness to what he's been doing. The rhythm of it is good. The ball placement has been good, and it's been 3 days in a row like that, which I think is very encouraging to see as he fakes and then comes down to the outside, finds JoJo Natson, who's able to get a nice gain and get out of bounds. You see 2 of the corners not out there. It's number 36, MJ Stewart, and Kevin Johnson, number 28. Browns hopeful to get both of those guys back soon, again, as we're 15 days away from the season opener in Baltimore, and you definitely want to be at full strength against that offense. As Baker in the shotgun again, gets it, looks, fires over the middle of the field, and that is complete. And a nice catch there from Jamon Moore, number 16.
Yes.
Looking good there over the middle. That's
the 1-6. I like how Baker just looked off his receiver before he threw it. He looked on the other side, misread the safety a little bit, and then fired the pass in there.
Dropping back, firing over the middle again, and of course it's caught by Harrison Bryant. Duh. Winning. What else would it be?
Who else, right?
Exactly. And that was just a good, crisp set there as they get now down towards the goal line as Baker has just gone completion, taking what the defense has given him. And again, good ball placement, good rhythm, quick and out at the back end. And there it is, Dontrell Hilliard getting into the end zone or near it for the Browns. Nathan Zagura joined by Browns legend Josh Cribbs out here in Berea. You're watching Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals. And it's only 7-on-7, no pads today. But again, crisp day from the offense. Not that the defense is doing anything wrong. They're in a 2-minute drill. They're letting them have that underneath stuff. But it looks good and crisp on both sides.
This is what you want to see. You want to see completion after completion.
Yep.
The defense is still moving around. They're still keeping everything like you said, underneath. There's no big shots happening over their head. They're not throwing the football down the field. The quarterbacks are taking what the defense is giving them. They're running the offense smoothly, both the first and the second string, and it looks like a pretty good practice.
It does, and we'll get into some more team periods later on throughout this practice. But in a 7-on-7, you want to see the offense get it done, and I think maybe that's what Kevin Stefanski is going through, what situation he wants to work on here. I love it when he gets very demonstrative with his hands, letting them know what we are going to work on as he's talking to the team. And it does look like we are about to enter into a team period, because I think I see the defensive linemen making their way onto the field there. And that's what we like to see, that team period. As close to football as you can get for a season when we didn't have a preseason. We didn't have the joint practices. Remember, the Browns were supposed to go to Green Bay and get that work in with the Green Bay Packers and see former coach Mike Pettin, who's now the defensive coordinator up there, Kirko, and all that. None of that has happened this year. So these team periods, every rep, so important not only to these players but also to the coaches and to the general manager to take a look. Obviously a little bit more value when they're in pads, but still these are very important, especially on the mental and the execution side. I see Baker Mayfield start off, little handoff up the middle there to Nick Chubb, who runs into the line. And looking like not quite a full speed rep there for this team period for the Browns. It's good to see. You mentioned Larry Ogunjobi and Myles Garrett out there. Jordan Elliott with them, who has had a great start to his training camp. The rookie out of Missouri, Sheldon Richardson, playing well. So a lot of guys who have looked good, and you see the fullback number 31. We get a lot of questions about Andy Janovich. In fact, it's scrolling across the screen right now. And Janovich, whenever he's in there, good lead blocker and obviously a very effective receiver out of the backfield, and it's a position that in the Kevin Stefanski offense a year ago went to the Pro Bowl. C.J. Ham did that for the Vikings as the Browns run a little stretch to the right, and the defense pursues and gets it there. Larry Ogunjobi blocking off that cutback lane, and that's part of the discipline that you need, and that's one of the things that these guys are getting familiar with, this wide zone on this defense, because they're seeing it over and over again.
They are, and you see the tempo of practice. They're not rushing. They're not going 100 miles per hour, but that initial move that they make is all that they need to see in the film study room. When they look, the quarterback's eyes, they're looking at what the running back is watching, his initial move, the way he stretches, his angles, and it's all about angles and attention to detail, and you can tell that from their first few steps, so you don't need to go 100 miles per hour in order to correct potential mistakes.
Baker sends Jarvis in motion. He's in the shotgun, gets the snap back, looks, fires in a good rhythm, but it's high for Harrison Bryant. Good coverage there from Carl Joseph. You saw Andrew Sandale say, "No, sir," as those two veteran safeties have worked very well together early in camp, and obviously you're still missing and reeling from the loss of Grant Delpit, who was going to be a big part of what Joe Woods wanted to do, especially in these dime packages. And we'll see. Does Sheldrick Redwine get some opportunities there? How do they use that flexibility in that safety room? And Redwine, a second-year player who's looked good and actually spoke up, and I thought it was very impressive. I don't know if you were able to see his press conference yesterday, but saying that Kevin Stefanski, based on a lot of the things that Redwine had said and done during the offseason and some of the social justice conversations, put him on that social justice committee, which is 11 guys here with the Browns as they run that stretch out to the right, and Daniel Aquale is right there to stop it and knock it down. But Sheldrick Redwine, that's a pretty important role for a second-year player, and obviously has the respect of his teammates. Told an incredible story yesterday about his family's history and their dealings with social injustice and racial injustice, and he's a guy that, a very impressive young man, very thoughtful, very well-spoken, and somebody who really, after starting those 5 games, got those valuable reps and is going to end up being not only big for the Browns off the field, as I think he was just very powerful yesterday discussing social justice reforms, but he's going to be, I think, an important piece on the field as well, and is really probably of the 3 safeties they have, the one true center fielder out there for the Browns now. As you see Keenum and the second team under centers, they're really working that run game out to the right, and there he is again. Walker and Jordan Elliott giving chase there on Dontrell Hilliard with that running play. But these young guys, listen, as you mentioned, this season in particular, everybody's got to be ready.
Yes, they
you
have
never
to
know
be.
when your time is coming.
And that's just it. When you look at what you have in the second-tier guys, and that's just who you thought wouldn't be your starters. And a guy like Andrew Berry, when he's mapping out this team and who he wants to be as a backup, you have to look at these guys as starters. This is the NFL. It's injuries. It's 100%. It's not if, it's when. So you have to look at your backups as starters, and they have to perform that way once they're in the game.
Chad Thomas with a great job there on that stretch left keeper for Keenum. He read it all the way, stayed home, good discipline. And Chad Thomas is a guy who's, I think, fighting for his roster spot. He and Porter Gustin probably competing to be that fourth defensive end. You know, Miles, Vernon, and Adrian Claiborne are your top three. The offseason started with Chad Thomas filling in for Miles when Miles was out, and then it immediately kind of seemed like Porter Gustin got that job and has performed well. But that was a good play by Thomas right there to read that keeper and stay disciplined, stay home.
And as we see at each position group now, you have very good and very competitive battles that continue to happen all through training camp.
Baker Mayfield and the starters in there again. Little stretch left and a blown up Tate Davis getting out there. Eli Anku as well for the defense, as the defense doing a good job today against this Browns running game. And again, they're not in pads. They are not going full speed, just getting those looks and trying to prepare themselves for, I think, which will be a more physical practice tomorrow at the stadium back in their pads. As you take a look at the Browns defense, those two in the middle, Richardson and Ogunjobi, plus Eli Anku getting in there you have an interesting look there with multiple big fellas up front along with Olivier Vernon. So looking at that, so that's a 5 defensive lineman front there from the Browns. Maybe kind of a little 3-4 variation when you got Vernon and Garrett in those 2-point stances. And you see Baker Mayfield under center again, play action, quick ball out to the side. And there's that fullback Andy Janovich we were telling you about, averaging over 10 yards a catch for his career. That's a stat that I'll keep talking about because it kind of boggles my mind. You don't see that very often with a fullback.
Right, and I love to see the versatility. Again, this wasn't an offense that very much utilized the fullback last season, and then you see that's Stefanski's touch. He utilizes the fullback, not just the fullback, but, again, the tight ends as well. So you don't know what you're going to see from this team. They can do it all, and that's why I'm excited about the versatility. They can be Jekyll and Hyde. They can be this team this day, this Sunday, because they're facing against a certain opponent, and then when they face against another opponent, they can be another team. So that's excellent when you can change your scheme up.
No, you're right. Last year the Browns were predominantly an 11 personnel team, 3 receivers, 1 running back. They didn't go to multiple tight ends all that often. Certainly didn't have a fullback on the roster last year, so that wasn't a part of the equation. This year, though, they can be in 3 tight end looks. They can be in 2 tight end looks. They can have 2 backs, 2 tight ends, and 1 receiver. 2 backs, 1 tight end, and 2 receivers. There's so many positional versatilities and so many formational options at the disposal of Kevin Stefanski. And I think, as you mentioned, that's going to allow you to really be scheme and game specific as they get a nice little 5-yard burst over the right side to Kareem Hunt based on your opponent. Right. If they're having a trouble when you go 2 tight ends, we can do that all day long. We can spread it out. We can still go 11 personnel, go 3 wide receivers. A lot of talent in that room. Get both of those backs, Kareem Hunt and Chubb, on the field together. One of them with a fullback. There's so many options. Correct. And I think so many tools in the toolbox for Kevin Stefanski. And that's part of the thing that makes it a little bit of a bummer, right, that you've had this offseason, because you haven't gotten to go through all that. You've got to get into a lot of your base work and certainly lock that down.
Exactly. And you see that we're not just saying versatility. Of course, you can put guys in certain positions and make it look like something, but we're saying versatility as far as you can actually do a lot of different things and succeed at a very high level and compete at a high level. Like, we could make the whole offense this way with 3 tight ends, or we and play at a high level. Sure. And we can switch it up and put 2 running backs and have one of them out catching passes in Kareem Hunt and have a fullback in the backfield still play at a high level. So that's what you mean when we say versatility.
Yeah, and a lot of talent here on this roster, and kudos to the front office and what they've been able to do to assemble this talent. One of the guys who came here and made an immediate impact, Jarvis Landry, the Browns wide receiver, has been to 5 straight Pro Bowlers, an absolute leader on and off the field for this team. We had him mic'd up, presented by Discount Drug Mart.
B12? Oh, I ain't thought. I knew y'all had set up. I don't know why I doubted y'all. I knew y'all was set up. I just couldn't tell. Forgot I was mic'd up. Oh, he should come do it. Put that camera down and get over here. Can you help me up? No. If I fall, can you help me up? I know for today for sure. I know I got that. But hopefully tomorrow and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the day after that too. I'm mic'd up. I'm piped up. I got stuck a little bit. That just make my legs go higher. Like it making me think about like more of this and more of that. You know what I'm saying? Shot, Porter. Let's go. Yeah. I feel like you went like this instead of like being able to come around it. To grab that, like to really like pick it.
Yeah. We've been out here too long. That one for you. Good catch.
Yeah.
Was all right.
Glute shutting down.
Be limping with you guys.
Come on. Join the club.
My practice is done.
Join the club.
Might as well.
Join the club. We over here.
One day at a time, man. One day at a time on 3. 1, 2, 3.
One day at a time.
There he is right in the middle of all of it, and the impact he's had on this team and this receiver room since coming here, his leadership. You remember that famous speech we saw on Hard Knocks can't be understated. As you see, the Browns back to this team period. Nick Chubb running into Jacob Phillips. This is Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals. Phillips is a guy, part of this young linebacking core, and somebody that, we know what he's going to do against the run. That's what he was brought in here to do. How he does in space will matter, and yesterday had a day inside the field house where he was close enough to be in the picture in very good position, but not good enough to prevent the catches. And I think that's part of the evolution for Jacob Phillips, is getting him comfortable in that coverage and in those coverage situations. You see the Browns break the huddle. Baker Mayfield under center there with Janovich at fullback. And we saw Harrison Bryant get out on the left end of the offensive formation. Baker kind of taking a look, moving Mr. Janovich prior to the snap here. And they end up running that little stretch to the right. Nick Chubb with a cutback, and Childrich says, "I've got you." Nick Chubb says, "I don't know if a one-arm tackle is bringing me down."
Right, and we talked about the one-arm tackles as it relates to Nick Chubb. At the same time, these defensive ends, the defensive linemen, they have to make sure that they're fitting up properly. So you'll probably see sometimes they run into Chubb mistakenly when you're not going full speed, because they have to be in a certain hole. They have to have certain fits. And maybe a lineman should be in between him and a running back. Who knows? But you see these guys not going full speed. They concentrate deeply on their fits.
Mayfield in the shotgun, looking, ball out, trying to get Nick Chubb on that angle route. And there's Sione Takitaki. And again, he's a guy we've talked about, his improvement in coverage, and that's a play, again, last year I think would have been a much easier completion for the offense, and Taki right there on Nick Chubb on that angle route. And you like seeing Nick Chubb get out of the backfield. He's a very underrated pass catcher as far as I'm concerned. Whenever you throw it to him, he makes plays, and people go back 2 years ago in Cincinnati, he made that unbelievable touchdown catch that a lot of guys on the team thought was the absolute play of the year. You see Baker Mayfield. It was great. It's right around the guy. Boom. Hand off to Chubb, who had a nice lane off the right side that time. And you see Hollywood Higgins down the field blocking there, and that's going to be one of the keys in this offense. It really you need to have your wide receivers committed to blocking down the field. Great to see Hollywood do it there, because that could be the difference between a 10-yard run and end up getting Nick Chubb taking it to the house. Play action, he boots to the left, looking, and just slings it out underneath to the fullback, Johnny Stanton, for a nice little gain there. And that's what this offense is. We're going to stretch you, we're going to stretch you, we're going to stretch you while you go ahead and take a look and try to overreact and run vertically, and then we're going to just bring it back the other side and get you away.
It definitely speaks volumes to you see how the wide receivers block downfield like that, meaning they believe in the run game. They're totally sold that, hey, if my block could help score and launch this guy into the end zone, he's that good. So you see these guys busting their tails downfield.
And that's a thing that the coaches notice. That may not be a thing that the fans notice. That's a thing that the coaches notice, and there are plenty of coaches. Anybody who's watching Hard Knocks right now knows wide receiver coaches who say, "You don't block for me, you are not going to play." Denzel Ward thought he had one right there, threw his hands and right into the waiting hands of Jarvis Landry. We just saw on our mic'd up portion presented by Discount Drug Mart. Denzel saying, man, I thought I had that one. And that's one of those you thought you were going the other way, and boom.
Right.
Instead, it is a completion for the Browns and Baker Mayfield there.
I'm old school, and when it comes to catching the football, I like doing it by the book. But these guys, man, the hands that this new generation has catching the football, the way they hold it. But if it works, why fix it? And that's how I always go as it relates to OBJ and Jarvis Landry.
You see the Browns giving a young man, number 67, Alex Taylor, a little bit of work there at right tackle. Mayfield looking for Hodge. Great angle on the camera there as that ball just sails outside. Jack Conklin fine, just getting a little bit of rest. And the Browns, you got to prepare for contingencies, whatever they may be. And so giving a little look there at right tackle to Alex Taylor. And Taylor stands out on this field. He's a rookie from South Carolina State, 6'8", 301 pounds.
I like
That's
how you
a big man.
I like how you say the contingencies. They're constantly preparing for, the worst to happen, but they're hoping for the best. And they're getting their guys prepared. They're getting their backups prepared. You're only as good as your backups. Can your backups get in the game and not miss a beat? That matters.
Absolutely. And speaking of Taylor, he's going to have good feet. Basketball player. Didn't play football until the junior year of high school. And in fact, in 2017 was on South Carolina State basketball team before being discovered by the Browns offense, or by the team's offensive line coach at that time. Ends up being an All-American, two-time All-MEAC selection. So pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that means that's good footwork.
Very good. That's right. Should be.
Yeah.
It should be. Brought to you by Howard Hanna is which Browns player was the first to get inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? The answer when we return on Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals.
The world has changed, but some facts remain. Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack, and every hour, over 700 people suffer a broken bone. While those numbers haven't changed, there are fewer people seeking the treatment they need. If you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get the care you need at University Hospitals. Protecting your health with science and compassion. That's UH Safe.
Snapple Apple tastes like apple.
And we dance the same too. And one, and two, shake out stone. Put it in the basket.
Now let's cobbler.
And cobbler. And cobbler.
Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple. Tastes like a perfect peach. It keeps on peaching. Tastes just like fruit, but Snapple.
The Cleveland Metropolitan School District and Cleveland Browns Foundation have learned a lot together in our Get to School campaign, and that's led to the Browns Foundation's efforts to spread this work statewide, creating the Get to School, Stay in the Game network here in Ohio. It's going to have impact not only in Cleveland and other urban cities, but in communities across Ohio where attendance matters for every single student. Cleveland Browns Foundation has also helped inspire other partners, including radio and television media partners, and partners like the Arby's Foundation, which has provided 60,000 meal coupons or over 600,000 meals as incentives for students who have come to school, and who most recently provided 520 of our students free internet access for a year to help address the digital divide we have here in Cleveland. We know in Ohio that if you are chronically absent, missing more than 18 days in a year, you are 89% less likely to graduate on time. So get to school, stay in the game. That's how we're going to improve education in Cleveland and in Ohio with the Cleveland Browns Foundation.
All right, welcome back to Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals. The answer to our Howard Hanna trivia question is Otto Graham. From 1945 to 1955, Graham threw for over 23,000 yards and 174 touchdowns. He was All-Pro 7 times and won the league's MVP 3 times. Graham guided the Browns to 10 division titles in 10 years and was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1965. Nathan Zgura alongside Browns legend Josh Cribbs. 10 division titles in 10 years. I would love to see another streak like that here for the Browns.
Yes, that's the traditional excellence of Cleveland Browns football, stretching from years and years, and that's a tradition that a lot of the new guys don't understand. A lot of people, new fans, don't understand as well. Like, why does the Cleveland fan base have such a huge fan presence? And it's because of the tradition of winning and the tradition of excellence here with the Browns.
Absolutely. From Otto Graham to Jim Brown, many legendary Browns. And when you go in this field house, when we're allowed back in there, all the Hall of Famers adorned, and certainly a new one set to be joining soon. And I would say that new one will be Joe Thomas. You see Case Keenum in the second team. Jack Conklin even get a few second team reps in here to make sure that he stays sharp. And Keenum there in the shotgun, gets it back, got Pharaoh Brown underneath, looks all the way out to the outside, and that one we couldn't tell. But it looks like it's caught there, Taywan Taylor, but the defense right there, Willie Harvey getting fired up, the Iowa State product, who has always been very good in camp. See Conklin go off to the sideline. Jamon Moore making his way into the huddle there for the Browns. Donovan Peoples-Jones coming out. So the Browns continue to get this work. Alex Taylor there back now with his spot there on the second team. We haven't seen Chris Hubbard out here today, so something if we get any information on, we'll certainly update you there. I haven't seen the veteran number 74 for the Browns, who has been working as that kind of second team tackle and fill-in. Little screen pass out, and Chad Thomas right there again having an excellent day of practice. He read that boot, now reads that screenplay to blow it up there, and that's when you can stay home and diagnose quickly and react, you can turn some plays that otherwise would have been big gainers into losses, and I think certainly good job there by Chad Thomas.
Yes, there's a D tackle battle that's going on, D-line battle. So you see those guys, the competition still persists on. These guys are trying to show themselves. They're trying to show why they belong in this Cleveland Browns uniform. So you will see that D-line still pushing through.
Yeah, it's a room that's had really a very good camp when you think about from Miles being dominant in a sense, returning to the lineup. Vernon's been excellent working against Jedrick Wills. Claiborne's been excellent as a shot down the field, and that is hauled in. Jamon Moore catching everything now,
go.
Josh. Here we go.
We had to put some pressure on him, that's all.
We did, and he's been catching everything. Nice sliding grab there by Moore on the ball from Keenum. But those ends, we mentioned those two. Claiborne, the veteran's been excellent, and then behind them it's been that battle between Porter Gustin and Chad Thomas really for that fifth spot. And then interior, you've got Richardson, you've got Ogajobi, you've got Elliott. Eli Anku's played great. Daniel Akwale looks good whenever he is out there. So a lot of talent along that line, and guys really competing to try to get and solidify that final spot.
Whenever you have that competition brewing, good competition, that breeds success on the team because everybody has a standard. They have a standard which is high. And it's always set by the projected starter. You see Hooper got up there and started catching every pass, jumping around, doing what he has to do as like a receiver at playing tight end. So every tight end under him follows suit. And now you see a plethora, that word again, of good talent.
Tremendous word. I love it. I love it as he puts it in the belly there. And nice little cut and a good little seal block by Nick Harris, freeing Kareem Hunt to get some run up the inside, up that kind of alley there as the Browns continue to go through the paces here. Alex Taylor continuing to get a little bit of work there alongside this group, which has to be very exciting for him. A guy who started, as I said, all 11 games as a senior at South Carolina State and was formerly a basketball player at South Carolina State. So the big man, that'd be a pretty strong power forward, 6'7", 300 pounds. You don't see many of those guys on the hardwood, and Taylor certainly did that before transitioning now into the National Football League. Mayfield in the shotgun, sends Kadarius Hodge across the formation, takes the snap, back, looks, going for Steve Carlson, just overshoots him there. That was just maybe a split second on the timing. He knew where he wanted to go, had the good look at it, and it looked like the ball placement was actually pretty good, but maybe he and Carlson just a hair off on that timing on that little post corner route from stiff arm Steve there. And a lot of guys working in today. I would say a lot of guys really working in terms of the tight ends and the receivers with Baker Mayfield today, giving a lot of guys opportunities. See Kadarius Hodge going out to the left with Taywan Taylor. We see way in the background there Austin Hooper taking in the practice, watching things as Baker getting everybody lined up. Sends Steve Carlson across the formation. Taki showing a little blitz right up the middle as he drops out of it. Baker fires quickly to the outside. Kadarius Hodge with the nice catch in front of Money Mitchell and Andrew Sendejo. It's good to see Kadarius Hodge back. As I said, I think you can go ahead and take a pen like I'm holding right now, write his name on the Browns' 53-man roster. The question for Kadarius Hodge is he going to play much as a receiver? We know he's going to be a stud on special teams. We know he's going to be a core part of what you do in that unit. But what he's trying to say is, I also want to play receiver. He averaged 19 yards a catch last year and says, I was only on 4 catches. I want a few more balls to see what I can do.
Right, and this is their preseason. We got to understand that, and the coaches are doing a really good job right now at mixing things up and putting the progression of the guys. You know, mixing the Hodge in there with Higgins and the tight ends. They're cycling out fast with Baker, like you said. I like the transition of players to see who can, help you the most.
Absolutely. Another crisp practice. See Montrell Meander in the foreground, talking as they sent the motion and seeing how they react to that. The former safety converted. A nice little cutback by Dearness Johnson there as they really got the line flowing to the outside, put his foot in the ground, got north-south. I'm a big Dearness Johnson fan. I like what we've seen from him as he hustles to get back, and they're simulating kind of that hurry-up 2-minute period as he gets behind Case Keenum. But good vision right there, and you saw the quickness. Once he decided to make that cut, how quickly he got there. They faked the same play. Keenum looking, wants to go down the field, lofts it, and on one hop complete to the equipment guy on the sideline there. Just threw it away. He was out of the pocket, said, all right, I'm going Commander Heatherly. I'm calling no joy. We'll live to see another day here, and just throw it away.
Yeah, he threw it away.
I was hoping hoping we were gonna get some. We're in tight here, so we don't know. We didn't know nobody was there. We thought we were maybe gonna have one of those nice little touchdown. But
I tried to look.
There's just a nice little incompletion. But yes, you said stop the clock and you live to play another day. In Case Keenum, the veteran, certainly he knows that very well. As Keenum's in the shotgun here as the Browns working in this kind of a move the ball period against the Browns defense. Fakes the snap count a few times, try to get a look, see if they will reveal their disguise. Keenum, here's one down the field, and just overshoots Jamarcus Bradley, working against Javonte Moffitt there, and felt like maybe he had a chance for a play, did Keenum there.
I want to see Keenum get worked in. I want to see some number one receivers get worked into Keenum's rotation, because I want to see if he can start, if he can be the guy, and that's what I've been wanting to see. So the more completions that he has, the more impact that he has on those twos. I want to see more out of Keenum.
Absolutely.
Back up.
Yeah, we want to see what he looked like in 2017 when he led the Vikings to the NFC Championship. He was the opening day starter 2 years ago for the Broncos, last year for the Redskins. Certainly knows his role to back up Baker Mayfield this season, but a very competent backup and a guy that could start in this league, has started in this league, has had success, and if the Browns are in need of him, you hope you don't have to see him, but
exactly.
If you need him, the Case Keenum will be ready, and it'll be good to get, as you mentioned, some of those reps, those contingency reps. We'll be back with more Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals right after this.
The world has changed, but some facts remain. Every 40 seconds, someone has a heart attack, and every hour, over 700 people suffer a broken bone. While those numbers haven't changed, there are fewer people seeking the treatment they need. If you're injured, sick, or in pain, it's safe to get the care you need at university hospitals. Protecting your health with science and compassion. That's UH Safe.
Antonio's Pizza delivers doubles. Order 2 medium one-topping pizzas for just $9.99 each, or make it a large for just $12.99. Download our new Antonio's Pizza app and order 2 of your favorite one-topping pizzas at a special low price. Choose our no-contact delivery and let one of our in-house team members deliver the deliciousness right to your front door. 2 handmade one-topping pizzas fresh out of our 470-degree oven for a low price of $9.99 each for 2 mediums, or get 2 large for just $12.99 each.
At Union Home Mortgage, we're committed to your goals. Whether it's a cash-out refinance to cover the cost of her college tuition, more room for new memories to grow, or to buy a home for the very first time. Whatever your goal, what matters to you matters to us too. And we promise, we won't stop working until you get there. Make your dream a reality with Union Home Mortgage. Promises kept.
Join the Browns Backers Worldwide Fan Club today. Membership is free and includes great perks like 10% off your total at the Cleveland Browns Pro Shop, the ability to start a Browns Backer chapter, or join one of the 350-plus existing chapters. Join today for free at fans.clevelandbrowns.com. If you're already a member of Browns Backers Worldwide, use promo code BACKERS2020 for 10% off when you call in your Pro Shop order at 440-824-3427. Join the Browns Backers Worldwide Fan Club today.
Attendance is our key initiative in the East Cleveland City School District. We are in the 4th poorest community in the United States of America. And we have young people now that are in our communities and in our cities that need education in order to help them prepare for the future. The work of the school can't be done without families and the community at large. The Browns Foundation is helping us to increase our communication effort. Parents are affiliating East Cleveland City Schools with the Browns, and there's a partnership there. There are two entities that care about our children and making sure they come to school.
Welcome back to Browns Live Training Camp. Time now for our photo of the day, taken by our very own Matt Starkey and brought to you by Medical Mutual, and that's Jarvis Landry. We heard him on the mic'd up earlier. He's had some nice catches out there today as well. An absolute leader on this team, and excited to see him back. He's worked so hard this offseason, come back after that offseason surgery to his hip, and really, you wouldn't know it with the way that he's performed out here whenever we've got a chance to see him, Josh.
Yeah, and anytime you come back off an injury, you want to see that guy, see him still have it. You want to see, does he still have it in the tank? Can he still get it done? Yes, he can still get it done. So that's good that, you see guys progress even after significant injuries.
Josh and I joining you from Berea for Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals. The Browns, we've seen Austin Seibert as we were in that break, boot a few field goals through the uprights, looking good. Some absolute bombs, and Seibert's leg looks certainly to be as strong as ever. And I was talking with the Scottish Hammer, and he's saying we were teasing him so much about his midsection. He's really gotten himself in shape, and Seibert's got the mullet. He's in great condition, and he's kicking the ball great by all accounts. And dealing with what has been, I would say, one of the windiest training camps I can ever recall out here in Berea. I don't know if going back to when you were out here, Josh, if you remember it being like this, but I don't want to talk about it right now because there's a little bit of a gust again, but it's calmed down a little bit. But it was been nuts today. Ball down there for Seibert, and that is on its way, and that is right down the pipe. The kick is good for Mr. Seibert.
One thing that you have always known in Cleveland, even any kicker coming into Cleveland, the weather, the wind, especially for a kicker and especially for a punter. So me as a returner having to catch in certain, these circumstances, you already aware of that. So definitely an issue here, and it's giving them more work.
Absolutely.
So when they go into, warmer climates, when it's not as windy, you'll see they hit their balls. They make their quota as far as stats. But kickers and punters, when they come in Cleveland, we have to use that to our advantage, and that's what they do.
And I think it'll be very good to get that work at the stadium tomorrow. That's something that you can't simulate out here in Berea, is what it is actually like. Although the wind is trying to simulate it for us, like that wind off the lake. But getting into the stadium, and I imagine as a specialist in particular, is critically important because you want to feel those winds. And obviously you can't say that tomorrow is going to be what it'll be like on that Thursday night game against the Bengals. But just to kind of feel, get in the environment, get the looks, get the sights, get the sounds, the smells, so that you're comfortable in a place where a lot of other specialists probably aren't going to be comfortable.
Exactly, and when we have home games, a lot of specialists around the league, they take time out at least 2 to 3 times, more so 2 times than 3. They actually go to their stadium, their home stadium, to kick and punt in the stadium when no one's there, just to get the feel for the upcoming games.
Absolutely. Let's get to our fan questions because Browns Live is all about you using the hashtag Browns Live. John Klein 82 says, Josh, what needs to be worked on the most in the final days of camp?
It's mental. It's all mental, and you want to see if they're going to be ready. We talk about the physical aspect of putting pads on, but it's really a mental game. These guys have what it takes to go out there and be physical, or else they wouldn't be here. We know they're strong. We know they're tough. They can physically get the job done, but will they be where they're supposed to be? Receivers, runners, linemen, quarterbacks, will they make the proper reads? So it's mental. It's a mental game. Will they make the proper reads, progressions to get it done? That's what's most important. I think our team will be ready come game 1.
Awesome shot there as Austin Seibert launched one into orbit. JoJo Natson as they go through a kick return drill here. Another fan question using the hashtag Browns Live from Randall Handel. What guys are you hoping to emerge as leaders on this team, especially with this season being so unique, Josh?
Your standout guys, the guys who you brought in to be the guys. I want to see your OBJs and your Jarvis Landrys stand up and be the vocal type guys when they need to be. Of course, Baker, he definitely is a leader verbally. We want to see that more. Hey, if we're having a bad period, let's call everybody up on the offense side if needed be, or the whole team as a player. Call those guys up, redirect their focus, get their attention back, and then let's break it. It doesn't have to come from the coach. So, first of all, it has to come from Baker, and then filter on through your projected superstars. You always want to see those guys vocal and leading by example, like a Nick Chubb.
Absolutely, and you talk about Baker Mayfield and that leadership. Everybody's talked about it, and just kind of the profile that was done on ESPN by Jake Trotter about Baker, how locked in he is this season, what his entire offseason was all about in terms of getting ready to be that leader and to be that leader not only on the field and in the locker room for this football team. And defensively, it certainly seems like Myles Garrett is going out of his way to take on a leadership role for this team. And you mentioned you want your premier players to do it. Garrett certainly fits that bill, and obviously becoming a more vocal leader for this team, not only about what's going on the field and in the locker room, but what's going on in society as well. Let's get one more fan question using the hashtag BrownsLive from RBD, the Baby Bull. He says, what can we expect to see in practice tempo as the team moves into the stadium this weekend?
Well, you see the same thing as we're seeing now. You see the team getting ready for game one. I know the fans want to see a lot of team. They want to see these guys hit. They want to see the excitement of the bombs, those big, deep passes. But Stefanski has to get this team ready for game one. He has to see who he has in starters, and Andrew Berry has to see who he has in the backups as well. And that's why, a lot of people didn't understand why I said that Case Keenum needs to see himself. I want to see him with the one receivers, with the one tight ends every now and then. Transition of things, when you see the tight ends running in out of the game, the guys, the backup linemen running in with Baker, and the young guys in Hodge playing with Baker. Yeah. We see a lot of the backup guys playing with the one, and that's what we want to see. We want to see that those contingencies are not just contingencies. They can play. They can start if they had to, and they'll perform at a high level.
Absolutely. I think tomorrow we're going to see very similar to the practices that we've seen out in Berea. You see the team congregated around their head coach, Kevin Stefanski, behind us. I think that as things progress, we'll maybe get even more ramped up. But I think tomorrow not going to be, if people are expecting a full game-like scrimmage, I don't think that's what it'll be. I think it'll be much more of a practice, and then they'll have some scrimmage-type elements in it. But I think next Friday, perhaps, that's when you ramp it up. You go through that final dress rehearsal. All right, we will be back with more Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals right after this, as things have concluded in Berea.
Okay, eyes on me. First, we're gonna start Ohio's 529 plan. Tax-free, baby. Pretty soon, we've got another base hit to right field. Oh, but let's say one of us gets a promotion. Oh, now we're at the 30. We're at the 40. With time running down on the clock, we get a grandparent assist, and it's goal!
Ohio's 529 plan is how you win at college savings. Learn more at collegeadvantage.com.
At Discount Drug Mart, we work hard to keep our patients up to date with their immunizations, especially those at high risk.
We take into account our patients' age, medical conditions, and past immunization history.
Immunizations are just as important to your health as diet and exercise, but can be taken care of with just one visit, effectively protecting yourself and your loved ones.
Stop at your local Discount Drug Mart
and see us for an immunization review today.
Discount Drug Mart, your immunization destination.
Square-foot state-of-the-art fitness facility is open. BrownsFit creates a safe and healthy environment for members and guests and showcases the latest in innovative fitness technology with personal training and much more. Located in the flats of downtown Cleveland on the second floor of the Aloft Hotel. Specials for BrownsFits are available for a limited time, so act now. Visit us at brownsfit.com today to become a member and train like the pros.
Time now for our Browns Live Play of the Day, presented by University Hospitals. And it's Jamon Moore, number 16, doing you proud there, Josh. Keenum dropping back, lofting a pass down there for Moore, who makes a sliding catch in traffic just in front of Robert Jackson as he beat him on that kind of little post route there. A nice catch for Moore, who has shown the ability to get open, but he had struggled kind of to bring a lot of them in, and right here says, okay, I'm going to show you a nice little catch. Getting down, making the catch. Jackson with good coverage there. Sheldrick Redwine coming over from his safety spot. That is our Browns Live Play of the Day. So no pads today, but certainly another crisp practice. I thought Baker Mayfield remained in a very good rhythm. Harrison Bryant continues to stand out. Every time it went in his direction, it was a completion. And the defense, I thought, had a solid day as well, but not the physicality we've seen the past couple of days, and certainly not what we'll see tomorrow there at First Energy Stadium.
We know these guys can be physical, and we'll find out soon enough if that letting off of the physicality has some effect. Again, we know these guys can be physical. It's up to them to go out there and have to show it when they need to, not just on, in the scrimmage, but game one. Yes, all this is in preparation for game one. Your fans are behind you, and they need to know that. Everyone is behind you. They're seeing your practices. They're watching you. They're writing down the catches and seeing the alignment of players and where they stand. So the product that we put out on the field, we have to make sure that our fans will be proud of that from what they see in practice, that they can expect success from what they see in practice.
Absolutely. They've got 15 days to get ready for that season opener against the Baltimore Ravens. Went 14-2 a year ago. The Browns handing them their final loss of the regular season back in Week 4. They lost to the Chiefs in Kansas City in Week 3, the Browns in Week 4, and then did not lose again last year. But Denzel Ward, as you see him making his way over to our tent, and the Browns obviously want to start their season off on a down note. And, Denzel, one of the things we've seen and we've noted just how much work he's put in, and when you have one of the guys who's your stars putting in that extra work on the side, I think that says a lot about the buy-in, and I think that's a very powerful message for everybody in the locker room who's watching him, looking at him, looking up to him. As you see Denzel Ward getting into our tent there, getting ready to join us here on Browns Live Training Camp, presented by University Hospitals. The great Mike Annarella doing some work with the wipes right there, making sure everything's sanitary for our guy Denzel. It's good to see you. And, we love this part of Browns Live. This is when we get the Browns players and we bring them to you, the great Browns fans. And we've got the headset over there with Denzel now. And, Josh, we're very excited to be joined by the Pro Bowler himself, cornerback Denzel Ward. Denzel, thank you so much for being with us on our post-practice interview brought to you by Snapple. First of all, how are you doing? How are you feeling here 15 days away from the season opener?
Yeah, feeling pretty good. Looking forward to getting to that first game against Baltimore with the team.
Do you see yourself having to feel forced to make the big play? I know you guys are stacked at defense, and when you look at the cornerback position, you guys are playing really well. I know you had a lot of injury, but, sometimes as a player, do you feel like, holding the responsibility, like, I have to make a pick right here? It's right now or never.
Well, I take pride and put a lot of pressure on myself that I want to be the guy that make that play, make that big play to change the game for the team and get our offense on the field, good field position to make a play. So I definitely take pride in trying to make that big play and turn the game around.
Denzel, one thing we've noticed, and it had been you and Greedy for much of camp, but you as well, working on the side with the assistant DB coach, working on whenever special teams was going on, working on your technique. What exactly were you working on? Because I think it's just, we were talking about what an unbelievable thing for a young player on this team to see. And I know you still are a young player, but you've been to a Pro Bowl. You're regarded as one of the stars on this team, to be putting in that extra work constantly. So what was it that you guys were working on over there on the side?
Yeah, we work a lot of things, just different things. Every time we get a break and they go to special teams, we make work our press technique or just different calls within the coverage that we work, just finding ways to get better when it's a break time, so never taking a break.
I like your progression year to year, and as you're playing right now, focusing on getting better. Is it anybody you see, far as like receivers around the league, that you say, you're licking your chops? you're ready to play, to make even more of a name for yourself. To say, I can't wait till we play a guy like that. I'm gonna shut him down. Is it any guys like, you don't have to name no names, but do you see that on the schedule? Like, I can't wait to play these guys.
Yeah, I definitely look forward to going against big name guys and guys that kind of solidify themselves as being that guy. But I just take it a game at a time, and whoever that number one receiver is coming up that game, I plan to shut him down and make plays and do what I can to help my team win.
Denzel, take us inside your room because, it's hard not to notice Greedy's missed some time. Money Mitch is back, thank goodness, but he had missed some time. And Kevin Johnson was playing great. He goes out with that freak injury. MJ Stewart comes in. He was playing great, has the hamstring. So a lot of guys in that room, young guys, really have stepped up. Anybody, that you've really kind of enjoyed working with and guys that you probably otherwise wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to work with?
Definitely. I think if you guys seen a player that definitely stepped up, and I seen him make a lot of plays out here, is AJ Green. So he's been out here making plays, working hard, and he's a guy that I know he could come out and play and step in and make plays. And Money Mitch, you obviously know what he can do. He's been out here making plays and doing his job as well.
Now, okay, you got Money Mitch. We got the Warden of the North. Do these nicknames, because I gave
Cover Johnson.
I gave Kevin Johnson the name Cover Johnson.
Okay.
Do these names put extra pressure on you guys, or you walk into it, you manifest that success through them? Tell me about that pressure.
Yeah, me personally, I definitely put that pressure on myself with the name. I got to back it up. I got to back that name up day in and day out when I go out on the field, and show what I could do.
Denzel, one of the things that everybody was looking forward to, I think, last year was, seeing you guys in practice, you and Odell locking it up. And obviously last year we know he wasn't 100%. He is 100% this year. How fun has it been going against Denzel? And do you see, as somebody who's asked to cover him, do you see a big difference in him this season?
Man, you just see how explosive he is when he gets the ball and when he doesn't have the ball. He's a team player. He goes out and shows that every day in practice.
I like how you guys are able to have that camaraderie. But one thing I know you stand out. The reason why you stand out to me is those field goal blocks. The things that you did on special teams that kind of put you, in my opinion, above some of the other guys, even across the league. How important is, special teams for you? And I understand you are the number one in guy, but how important is doing more than what's required of you?
Man, it's huge, and special teams is huge. I feel that was instilled in me at a very early age, especially going on to Ohio State and coming off the edge on field goal block. But that's just another way to change the game and make plays, not just on offense or defense, but being able to come off the edge and block a kick. So I look forward to those field goal blocks when I get the opportunity and try to go block it.
Denzel, here we are 15 days away from the season opener. New defense being put in, but this one, I know all you guys have said, this is so DB friendly. We love what Joe Woods is letting us do. From your point of view, how would you describe this defense and why you guys like it so much?
Yeah, I'm not going to say too much about it. But
good, that's right, fair.
Yeah, but I like the playbook and like what Coach Woods put in, and the coaches are teaching us. They putting us in position to make plays, and that's big.
All right, we have a fan question for you. We always want to hear from our fans, and this one was dialed up for you, Denzel, from one of our fans. We'll get to that in just how here it is. All right, what are you most excited about headed into your third season from Wired on a Bike?
And definitely just getting back and playing the game, just with COVID and everything that's been going on. Just being away from football, I'm just looking forward to getting to the first game, being able to try to get that first win.
All right, Denzel, we really appreciate you being with us, giving us some of your time. I know you'd be used to the fans being out here creating those memories after practice, signing the autographs, taking the pictures, etc. They're not out here, which has certainly been odd. But is there anything you want to say to our great fans as we get ready here for this season?
Just appreciate you guys, and come ready to watch Baltimore.
He's actually blocking punts and blocking field goals in college. We saw that on his film. Off the edge account, he puts himself out there like, I'm willing to do whatever the team needs, and he's blocked 2 already. So you see how he separates himself, from other corners around the league.
All right, Josh, I can't wait. Tomorrow, Browns Live. You from First Energy Stadium. That is going to be a ton of fun. First time we've been back there since the end of the 2019 season. By the way, tonight, be sure to set your DVRs as we get a Browns historic game. Actually, watch it live, but if you can't set your DVR, the 2008, that Monday Night Football game, the Browns against the defending Super Bowl champion Giants, that game will re-air tonight at 8 p.m. on News 5. For Josh Cribbs, I'm Nathan Zegura, for our entire team, saying thank you once again for joining us on Browns Live Training Camp presented by University Hospitals.